Good morning, man. I didn't think the music I picked for the first 2 seconds was going to be as intense as it was. But, good morning, guys. How are you? Hope you're having an amazing start to your day. If you have not stepped outside of your home yet, I need you to do that, please. If you're watching on the phone right now, watching us on clickorlando.com on your phone, on your mobile device, our New 6 app, or maybe you're watching us on YouTube because, man, we are streaming there as well. I just need you to take me outside. Go experience this for a second because it is about 65 degrees here in the Central Florida area. I'm currently on the county line of Orange and Seminole. Where am I? I'm off of Keller Road out by, most of you guys don't know, but the FBI headquarters is right over here. Federal Bureau of Investigation Orlando Detachment, one of their offices right here. Very industrial area, iHeart, Magic, Mix, all the radio stations and stuff. And now we just crossed into Seminole County. So, but it is a beautiful day outside. Chief Meteorologist Candace Campos has been giving us the updates that this cold front was going to happen. I tell you, it's funny telling my wife that. Her being a flight attendant, travels all the time. And the other day, she's based out of Newark, and she's like, it's 15 degrees outside. I don't want to hear about your cold front. And I was like, relax. Meanwhile, then she's outside yesterday. She's like, oh, I feel it. I said, I told you, it's happening. It's why I got my new 6 jacket on. Looks like I'm about to go into the Arctic somewhere, but it does the job. So today, we are talking about who has the right-of-way when changing lanes. While just talking to you, I've changed lanes twice already, but I'm not interacting with any traffic. And a viewer sent a message kind of asking some interesting questions, 3 different types of questions. I wasn't really fond of it, but the questions alone let me know why we have the problems that we have. So we're going to wait till we dive deeper into this and I focus on my entrance ramp here. From Maitland to I-4. I love this ramp. I always feel like an F-16 fighter jet coming in. It's like, bah! But fighter jets don't make that noise, so I'm not sure what I was referring to. So we're going to talk about, first and foremost, does the person to signal have the right-of-way? Does the first person to signal have the right-of-way? Then we're going to address, well, what about, does speed play a role in lane change priority? And what about drivers further ahead? Okay, so we're going to break down each one of those one at a time because that's the safest and easiest way to do it. So the first question presented was, does the first person to place their turning signal on have the immediate right-of-way? Okay? So let's talk about your turning signal first. It's a signal. It's an indicator, right? You're telling other drivers what you would like to do, not what you are going to do. Because you can't do it unless there is clarity out on the road for you. Man, this morning people are speeding out here. That's why there ain't no trooper in the express lane area. So if I was to put my turning signal on right now and want to get over, right? So obviously this box truck going a little slow. I want to get over. I'm going to put my turning signal on. I'm going to look behind us and there's no traffic. I'm going to move on over, right? But what if there was traffic? So what if there was a vehicle in front of me and behind me and traffic moving like that silver vehicle coming up behind us and I want to get over? Well, it is my job to check everybody. What do I mean by that? Meaning I'm checking the vehicle that's in front of me back here. I'm checking the cars that are behind me. Heck, I'm even checking my right and I'm checking my left. All of this plays a role in lane changes. So if the vehicle in front of me doesn't indicate, then I will begin to indicate, right? So indication on. I am the first one with it on because no one else wants to change. I have to also judge the car behind me. Is the vehicle going to play nice? All right, they're not moving, so I cruise right on over and I go for the pass. It is a recipe that you're putting together. It is not a clear-cut answer. All three of these are going to be recipes, and I want you to have the best tasting one, because at the end of the day, that's what's going to keep you safe, keep people from complaining, and keep them from doing their nice hand gestures towards you out on the road. Now, that's probably a very nice one compared to what some of us run into, right? So, does the first person to put their indicator on have the initial right-of-way? No, they do not. That is a standing big no. It is circumstantial, okay? So just because you have it on, you're the first one to put it on, that's not how this works. All right, number 2, while you're out and about, if you're cruising out here, does speed play a role? This is a big one, because I'm going to yell at a lot of you guys here for a second. I don't want to be in this left lane. So we're going to pass this FedEx van or transit type vehicle, and then we're going to scoot on over to the right center travel lane here, so we can talk about this a little bit. 1 second here. But if you're joining us this morning, we're talking about lane changing and who has the right of way. This guy must love the logos on the back of my truck. Objects are closer than they appear. The guy is on me right now. I'm going to scoot on out of his way, and they're probably going to pass us. We are doing 65 currently, and yeah, I guess it's not fast enough for this driver. Anyways, so speaking of speed, right? You're driving. You want to change lanes. Suddenly, everything is clear, right? No one behind us. I want to move to this left travel lane. I am judging the traffic as it appears, okay? You have a right to maneuver your vehicle in any fashion that you want that is safe and prudent with current laws, okay? Other drivers, when you're speeding, you're basically giving up a lot of your driving rights. Now, I'm speaking my opinion portion here. As a speeding driver that is clearly driving above the speed limit in and out of traffic, you're the problem. Just because you're going faster than someone else, it gives you zero priority over anything. And let's break it down this way. The speed limit sign, right? So the speed limit sign is the limit. As long as you're within that limit, you're allowed to play the game. The second you exceed the posted speed limit, you're no longer part of the common traffic flow. You're a problem. So if I'm out here, I look behind me and everything is clear, and I want to change lanes. As I'm changing lanes, if that Dodge Charger, which they are not, but if that Dodge Charger was driving at an extreme high rate of speed and came into my lane suddenly, and a crash occurred, we're gonna have a heck of a crash investigation here, because you're gonna have to explain to that Charger that exceeding the posted speed limit, you're messing with other traffic. You were driving in a manner that just was not safe. But the hard part of this is, as the person changing lanes, you must be constantly aware. Constantly. And I feel like sometimes I'm asking a lot from you guys when I say, hey, I just need you to drive. And some of you are like, well, I got stuff to do. Well, okay, then don't send me questions and complain about what's happening if you're going to drive in a way that's not consistent and safe with everybody else, all right? So does speed play a role in lane change priority? Absolutely not. If you are speeding and trying to change lanes and something happens, that's on you. You caused it. You're the problem. What about the driver further ahead? So this is something that is an opinion of mine that I think should be law, and that works for me, okay? Here, this is my thought process on this. We're hanging out, right? We're going to exit here. and get on a local road, because I want to show you on a local street more of what we're doing. And this exit here at I-4 in Lake Mary tends to be interesting. So as we approach it, 2 lanes, and it turns into 4. 2 go to the right, 2 go to the left. It is also a no turn on red area. So we'll see how many, if there are any clowns waiting for us up here. So we're going to activate our turning signal 100 feet before we make that right. No turn on red. The light is green. We're going to conduct it. Maintain your lane. So the lane goes into the center. I'm in the center. I didn't fly to the left. I didn't fly to the right. I want to go far left. I would turn my turning signal on and go far left. All right? So let's address this question, this last part of it, because this is a good one. Oh, gosh. Okay, I thought we were having a clown. I thought we were going to have a clown. But there is no clown, so hold the clown button. I thought this van to my right there, you see how he's angled? Man, you guys, as long as you guys drive like this, I'll have a job for the rest of my life. So let's talk about this real quick. The driver further ahead. This, to me, if we practice this, I genuinely believe we would start to see results out on the roadway, okay? So, I am a proponent about what about the further driver? So if we're in a line here, okay? We're in a line, and the car in front of me, this GMC Terrain, wanted to change lanes to the right. But I also wanted to change lanes to the right. If I had the opening and I went first and then sped up in that travel lane, what am I doing other than being a butthead? I'm causing frustration out on the road. I am automatically causing a slowdown. You're saying, Steve, how are you automatically causing a slowdown? I'll show you. I'm going to demonstrate it. So here we go. So this vehicle in front, we've got the 4Runner to my right, and we have the Terrain in front of me, right? So say the car wanted to go to the right-hand side, and I saw the opening here, which this isn't going to work out because I don't want to cause a crash. So we're going to keep going. But say the GMC that's directly in front of us in our travel lane had their right turning signal on, and I had my right turning signal on. I had space because there's space behind me here. I'd activate my signal, and if I sped up all of a sudden and then caused a problem, now that Terrain is going to slow down, even though they wanted to get over here first. So what is a good practice? I'm going to teach you guys something. This is not law. This is not in the books. This is not something that I think you'll find written anywhere, honestly. Take turns. Be a lane holder. Don't be a lane clown. What do I mean by a lane holder? I'm going to show you what I mean here. So, the Terrain, right? We were talking about that Terrain that was right in front of us. And say, oh my gosh, why do we come to complete stops to make a turn? Anybody can answer that one? So, lane holder. What is a lane holder? Here's a second demonstration. We got a bicycle in the bike lane, give them some space there. But say this Toyota Yaris, one of the smallest cars ever. Say we both had our left turning signal on. I came over. I'd hold the lane for them. Let them come over as well. Okay, that's only if they wanted to come over and if both of you had your turning signal. Be cooperative out on the roadway. Hold the lane for somebody. You're not obstructing traffic, guys. I know there's a traffic cop out there that may not like me preaching what I preach, and they'll be like, well, that's not your responsibility to hold the lane. Well, it's also not your responsibility to be out driving crazy and taking over other people's travel lanes. So I'm trying to present you a way that both of you can succeed at the same time. Is move with them. In law enforcement, we drive with the same vehicle and we drive around each other so much together to and from places that we know how to dance out on the roadway, especially when we're running 1018 code 3, 1018 or code 3 means lights and sirens emergency response. That is not easy stuff, guys. A lot of people are like, oh, you guys just have fun. That's stressful. Is it fun? Yeah, it's a great time. But we learn to hold lanes for each other so that we can continue moving. Why can't we do the same thing? If you, and it kind of refers almost to question 1. So if one person doesn't put it on first and both are doing it at the same time, you know just by that feeling, that hunch, that you're both going to head in the same direction. Why not turn the turning signal on, move over, but don't speed up? Does that make sense? Move over and at least provide a visual opening and even an opportunity for that other driver to come on in as well. So when it comes to lane change, it's very simple. There is no official right of way when there are multiple people. If you're in your lane and you have the right in a turn, then it's yours, obviously. But when we're here in multiple travel lanes, you have to give grace to other drivers because you're mixing with each other out here. And the second that you think you have priority over somebody, guess what? They think the same thing. So we run into problems out on the road. All right? So what did we address here? If you're just joining us this morning, we're talking about lane change right-of-way. And 3 different questions were presented. 1, does the person to signal first have the right-of-way? Does speed play a factor in lane change priorities? And question 3, what about the driver that is up ahead of you first that is signaling? What did we say? Question 1, does the first person to signal have the right-of-way? No, they do not. Just because you're signaling first doesn't mean anything. You still need to take proper steps to make sure that traffic is around. We must remember our signal is a signal. It is an indicator. It is not a barrier. It is not an emergency light. It is not a traffic control device. It is a signal, and that is all it is. Does speed play a role? Heck no, speed does not play a role. Just because you're speeding does not give you any right of way to anything, okay? Nada, zip, zilch. If anything, it takes away more of their priority because now you are considered an aggressive driver if you're trying to change lanes while exceeding the maximum posted speed limit, all right? And what about the driver further ahead? This is where the Trooper Steve-isms, my experience, my training comes into fact here, that listen, at the end of the day, the vehicle in front of you, if they are trying to do the exact same thing you are doing and they are there first, then they should have the right of way. This is not written, hear me out. I know some of you recently some of y'all love saying taking what I say and going right to the Florida statute. I'm sorry, Florida statute does not make you a good driver. It makes you an obedient driver, but it does not make you a good driver. Practicing different techniques, understanding cooperation on the road, and that we're all driving thousands of pounds down the road, that's what makes you a good driver. So when it comes to question 3, the vehicle in front of you, my opinion changes pretty hard on this. Some people say no, it's whoever goes into the opening. I say yes. So if a vehicle is in front of me, pretend there is, and we both wanted to get into the right travel lane, and we both click, 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 have our turning signal on, then you know what? I'm going to go and I'm going to scoot over, and I'm going to hold the lane for a second, slow down, and let them get into the travel lane as well. Now this lane is backed up way more than the other ones, and I don't want to sit here. So we're going to keep cruising. Hey, Lake Mary Police Department, how are you guys? Appreciate everything that you do. But does that make sense, guys? You shouldn't be trying to always beat somebody, always try to overtake somebody. It just doesn't work out for anybody, really. So very, very simple. I think I did a decent job at trying to break this down for the viewer. I believe his name was Pat that sent this in. But there's no real clear-cut answer. It's truly cooperation. To understand that drivers need to change lanes, You need to communicate with other drivers in both a device that's on your vehicle, a turning signal like that, click, turns on over. But you also need to give grace, because if you think you are priority over someone else out on the road, you are the problem, because that is not the case. No one out here currently, as I'm looking, not even this beautiful, amazing Results One F-150 that we have, has priority over anybody. Now, obviously, an emergency vehicle, fire truck, ambulance, police car, displaying emergency equipment activated, then they have the priority. But outside of that, that's it. So guys, give yourself some grace, give your neighbors some grace. Use your turning signal. If you didn't know, they're located to the left side of your steering wheel. An amazing invention. Up indicates right, pushing it down indicates left. You should be indicating well in advance to any turn. Last minute stuff only leads to crashes. So please, use your turning signal, guys. I hope you have an amazing Thursday. Even though it is cool outside, stay hydrated. That heat will creep up on you fast. And be kind, please. Roadway's always a place for stress. You guys have an amazing day.